So hello and welcome to St. Clair's Hair's YouTube channel. My name is Dami St. Clair, and in this video I'll be going into how I achieved this look. But I also want to touch on a few other subject matters such as therapy and finding your purpose. So by sharing with you how I found my purpose, it's gonna make sense why I do what I do, and hopefully I can help somebody out there find their purpose as well. But point blank period, I just need you to know that you are phenomenal.
Because I'm a woman. Phenomenal woman.
You're amazing, boo. Okay? Just as you are right now. Yes. So first I'm going to talk you through how I got to this stage before we get into the meat of the ogbono soup.
This ogbono soup is going to make me a very popular girl.
I can't remember the terminology. It's the meat, before we get into the meat of the something, ogbono soup is going to do for now. So first things first, I started on freshly washed stretched hair. And I sectioned out my faux fringe and I put my hair half up and half down. So I sectioned it first so that once I take out the perm rod sets, everything is already in place and all I need to do is a little bit of fluffing. Then I went in with the perm rod sets and I neatly sectioned out a generous amount of hair, not too thin, not too thick. And then I went in with the St. Clair's leave-in conditioning cream. Then I'm gonna go in with the tiniest bit of gel. So I use the Argan Oil Eco Styler. And the reason that I use these two is because one, the St. Clair's leave-in conditioning cream provides your hair with moisture and so much other good. I like to use the gel because when you see the end results, it's going to provide the curl with a little bit of hold. And this helps it to last just that little bit longer. And because I'm using the combination of the two and I'm only using a small amount of gel, my curls still feel really nice and soft as opposed to crispy. So another thing that I'm making sure to do is I start from the tips of my hair. I'm also adding the product, so that's the cream and the gel, starting from the ends of the hair and working my way up, and that's because I want the curl to be seen most at the ends of the hair. That's what's going to allow for the curls to look really defined, and that's what's going to help it last longer. Once those ends start frizzing out, then you know, it's just kind of time to give up on the look. If you don't know already, when I gave birth, my hairline dropped out, and it's just in the process of growing back, so I'm not trying to place a mad amount of tension on it. So these rollers were very loose and it was very comfortable to sleep in. Okay, so let's begin with the smoked turkey of the ogbono soup. Life is cray and it is so easy to lose yourself. Look at that, guys. Oh, me loves it. Okay, and I feel like one way to make sure that this doesn't happen is to identify your purpose in life. I feel like when you ask a lot of people, what's your purpose in life? It takes a second before you can really think of what to say, if you have anything to say at all. And if you do say something, most of the time it's just something cliche or generic and not specific enough.
I would have to say world peace. Definitely world peace. That's easy. World peace.
So I think it's really important to confidently understand and know what your purpose in this life is. And it doesn't stop there, because once you figure out what your purpose is, you need to give it a place in your day to day. You need to walk it out. So I'm just gonna quickly share how I was able to find my purpose and how I'm living in it. But before we do that, I just want you to take note of how I am taking down these rollers. Now I'm not just taking them down any old how. I'm actually trying to follow the shape of the curl that I've created. Yeah? So that I'm not tampering too much with what has taken me all night to set. So as I was saying, I'm going to share how I found my purpose. So I think the best place for me to start would be my breakdown. So a few years ago, I had created a product that I thought was literally going to revolutionize my whole life. And 6 months into investing in the product, investing time, investing money, it felt like nothing had materialized. And so literally one day in the middle of doing a shoot for the product, I just went to the toilet and I broke down and I started crying. I can't really explain it, but it just felt like the project had failed, and attached to that were just all these feelings of failure. It almost felt as though the fact that this project had failed defined me as a failure, and I couldn't understand where all these feelings were coming from, but all I know is that I was not in a good space. So I was in the toilet, I was crying, I messaged my cousin and she was at my house the next day, and I think I was explaining to her how I've achieved nothing, and I was telling her that I'm a failure, and she said that I sounded, this is what she said verbatim. A lot of people hate the way that I say verbatim, but I love it. Anyway, this is what she said to me, word for word. You sound like a rich woman dripping in Gucci, crying that she's poor. I actually love my cousin so much. She also has an amazing luxury self-care line called This Is So. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box, but yes, I have to shout her out because one, she's an amazing cousin, and two, her products bang. She suggested that I go and talk to a therapist about why I'm feeling these feelings. And I was just like, a therapist? I'm not spending no money on a therapist. What is the therapist gonna tell me? She was like, if you were physically sick in your body and you needed an operation that cost X amount in order for you to, you know, not die, you would fork out every penny to try and get that surgery. So why is it not looked at the same when it comes to mental health? If something is affecting your mental health and it's making you sad, when you have every reason to be happy, why would you not do everything that you can to fix that? So when she put it like that, I couldn't even argue. So she directed me to this website called Barton. Look at me, I'm just talking, I'm not even taking out this hair. Anyway, she directed me to this website called BAATN, and I found an amazing therapist on there. And if you want some more info on that, then you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is Dami St. Clair, and I'll be happy to give you any information that you need regarding that. Therapy provided so much clarity. Whew, goodness me. There is a link between what happens in your childhood and your adulthood that plays such a major part in all of your behaviors. And what therapy taught me, which is so invaluable, is to always ask why. So for instance, in my case, why do I feel like a failure? Ask yourself the question out loud. And then when you give yourself the answer, what you then need to do is explore the opposite. Or should I say explore the truth. So flip the script and now say out loud all of the things that you have achieved. Once I did that, it became very apparent to me that this idea that I'm a failure was a lie. It was actually the biggest lie, because when you say it out loud or when you write it down on paper and you just literally look at the facts, you just have to ask yourself, how is it that this lie compared to the truth was able to be so dominant? So therapy just has taught me to always ask why. If a negative thought pops into your head, ask yourself why. Where did that come from? If your first reaction to something is anger, why? Where did that come from? If you said something that wasn't really nice to somebody and it just was kind of unwarranted, where did that come from? Why? Why did you do that? Ask yourself why. You'll uncover a lot. The clarity that therapy provided me, combined with my growth in my spirituality and my personal relationship with God, has taken me to a new level of thinking and just being. So again, none of this happened instantly, and it's been a journey of self-growth, and I absolutely love it. Look at us talking about self-growth and healthy hair growth. So now we're going to move on to how this ties in with finding my purpose. So I have been in the hair business for years, okay, and hair is in my blood. Like, my mom owned a hair salon for, was it 20 years plus? The name of the salon was St. Clair's, and that's where St. Clair's was birthed. But because I didn't know my purpose for why I was doing what I was doing, I don't feel like I've ever really owned it. So I have a really good friend who would always tell me constantly to post this and post that. In fact, let me stop lying, because that's not how she talks. She'll be on some, you need to do your makeup and put on the wigs and just be taking pictures, picture this, picture that, posting. I mean, look at your face. You shouldn't be behind the scenes. Yes, you know, I love hair and putting on makeup and, you know, taking pictures of me wearing the hair and all that kind of stuff is good for business. I just didn't have a passion or a drive for it. And the reason why is because it just didn't have enough, there wasn't enough substance to it for me. And there were times when I did do it, like I'd have bursts of doing it and just, yes, just, okay, cool, this is what I need to do, so I'm gonna do it. But I just wasn't able to keep it up for long because it felt like, okay, now what? And now I am finding that I'm able to do those things, and the reason I'm able to do it is because I know the purpose in why I'm doing it. And so now we're going to go into exactly how I found my purpose, and hopefully you can take some tips, and if you don't know what your purpose is yet, you'll be able to find it too. Okay, so now that I've taken out all the rollers, now I'm going to separate each of the curls very gently. I'm going to start by separating them just once. Once I've done that, I'll see how I feel about the body, and if I want it to be a bit more fuller, then I'll go in and I'll separate everything a second time. So moving on to how I found my purpose. Well, I began by reading this book called The Joy of Missing Out by Tonya Dalton. And it's an absolutely amazing book, and I discovered it by listening to an amazing podcast, which literally just changed my whole life. It just changed my mindset, the way I look at things. It's a podcast by Patrice Washington called Chase Purpose, Not Money. It's such a good podcast. If you just want to elevate your level of thinking, then just begin listening. And the book makes you carry out exercises in order to find what your purpose in life is. I feel like a lot of people stumble when it comes to this question. Like, if I asked you right now, what's your purpose in life? Do you have an answer? If you do, leave it in the comments below. It'll be really nice to see some of the answers. And if you don't, then perfect, this next bit is going to be for you. The book refers to your purpose as your North Star. So your purpose is supposed to guide you in the way that the North Star guides. And what it asks you to do is to create your own mission statement, vision statement, and define your core values in the same way that a business does. But you need to do it for yourself. And I'm going to leave a definition of the three of these things on the screen because they're three very different things, and in order for you to correctly identify your purpose, you need to understand what each of them mean and then correctly create your mission and vision statement and your core values. When I did this exercise, I took it really seriously, and there was a bench that I used to sit on in the front of my house at 6 a.m. each morning. That was my bench, 6 a.m. every morning. I would go to that bench with my Bible, my books, my notepad, and it just felt so good. I can't even describe the feeling. I would just breathe in the air, I'd look at the trees, I'd get revelation, I'd have such an appreciation for life, I'd reflect on the day before, I'd reflect on the day ahead. If I ever went to that bench and somebody was sitting on it, I would be screwing as if I owned the bench. I went to that bench and I defined each and every single one of these things. So my mission statement and what I feel is my mission on this earth is helping you to love the real you, not who the world said you are, and discovering just how phenomenal you are, then walking in it every day. Hence why St. Clair's Hair is all about phenomenal hair for the phenomenal woman. My vision statements and my vision for my life is to live a life where I can say, I want to do that, and then be able to say, I did that, and inspire other people to do the same. And then my core values are spirituality, like God is my bestie. That is so important. None of the things that I have gone through, I feel like I would have been able to come out of them if not for just the foundation of my faith. So spirituality, fun. I like to have fun. I feel like people just get so lost in life that you just forget to have fun, and having fun doesn't mean planning some holiday, some big weekend. It can literally just be in the littlest of things. Just, you know, just little things, just the little thing. Book myself a massage or just have a movie night with my kids. I feel like people just take those things for granted, and just doing a little bit more of those things, honestly, it just makes life so much more fun. So back to my core values. So spirituality, fun, growth, support systems, freedom, passion, and organization. So these things are priorities for me. And so in order for me to live in my purpose, I need to do what my mission statement states, which is helping others to and then the vision will come about, and then ensuring that my core values are tended to is going to allow me to live a purposeful life. So you need to explore what each of these things mean to you, and in doing so, you will find your purpose. It's very important to note that when I was creating my mission statement and my vision statement, I purposely tried not to relate it to anything that I currently do. My mission statement is that I want people to understand just how phenomenal that they are. I didn't try to link that with hair at the time, because then that would have skewed my mission statement to be, I want women to feel beautiful by buying my hair extensions. I purposely separated what my mission statement was from anything that I currently do, so that I could really get to the core of what makes me feel fulfilled as a person. So now that I've identified what my purpose is, I then had to ask myself, okay, so how can I walk in my purpose with what I currently have and with what I am currently doing? And as I've said already, I just live, breathe hair. It's in my blood. But I cannot just talk about hair 24/7. Now, I'm not coming for anybody who does. If that is you and if that is what fulfills you, then that is good, because then you're walking in your purpose. But for me, it's different. And don't get me wrong, because hair is quite deep, because we have been taught to underappreciate and undervalue our hair forever. And that needs to be corrected. However, for me to feel fulfilled, I need to be able to touch on things on an even deeper level, which is what kind of led me to do this video. I might just go ahead and separate everything out one more time. I hope that I didn't bore you with this video. I hope it helps somebody. I love perm rods. Do you know what vibes it's giving me? It's giving me Khalees vibes. And voila, this is the finished look. I feel like the Black Sandy from Greece.
Sandy?
Tell me about it, stud.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you feel like it's going to help somebody else, then please share the video. And if you haven't already done so, then subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next Sunday.